You can tell it's the second episode of the night because we're having a little bit of drink here. I'm having tequila. You're having whiskey, right?
I'm having a ginski.
A ginski!
First you pour the gin, and then you pour the whiskey.
Yeah, that's the recipe. There you go. So, Steve, who sent us this topic prompt?
Are you going to do the intro?
Oh, hey, everyone. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and that, dear listener, makes the 60-cycle hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, playing, reviewing, reviewing,
playing and reviewing, playing and demoing, and playing and guitar.
Playing and YouTubing and responding to troll comments podcast.
All right, tell us about this topic prompt, Steve. If you want to prompt a topic here on the show, all you have to do is be on our Facebook group Thursday mornings, and that's when we do the call out.
I did not. I didn't save who posted this.
I thought you screen grabbed it.
No.
Jeez. They were asking, like, what do you look for in a good local music store and a good local guitar store?
All right, this is from dear listener Matt Nunnally. He says, what makes a good local shop good? Well, dear listener, we're going to tell you.
Steve thinks we have a lot of deers listening to this podcast. I don't even have an answer prepared for this. I just thought we would like.
I can't do the dear listener thing. It doesn't work for me. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
Steve gave up already.
Yeah, I thought I could go all the way.
Well, dear listeners, here we go. What do you think is like some good qualities, like some necessary qualities to a good local shop?
Chill vibes.
Chill vibes, cool hangs,
Mood lighting.
mood lighting.
Mood rings.
I'm thinking about like shops that I consider
hot babes.
my favorite local shops, even though a couple of them no longer exist. Hot babes.
Guitar Center. Guitar Center is a
First, it's got to be
local shop.
It's got to have guitars in the center.
Yeah.
It has to be a national chain.
It has to be.
No, I'm thinking of
basically the same anywhere you go.
Let's list good local shops. I'm thinking Buffalo Brothers, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Guitar Trader, rest in peace.
Pitbull.
Pitbull exists still and is great.
Yeah.
Pitbull's like kind of like a Guitar Center alternative. It's more online sales, but they do have a physical shop that is actually really cool. Moe's is really cool. I always liked Freedom Guitar because it's like really kind of
I
like.
haven't been to Freedom in like 10 years.
Every time I've gone there, it's like, man, they have all the really weird stuff. It's kind of like sketchy piles of amps that like who knows if they work and stuff, and like things that aren't quite repaired, but like it's kind of like browsing Craigslist. Like there's so many weird things there. So I think like we don't have any like heavy themed, like, you know, there's shops like the Mike's guitar bar sort of thing. LA has Caveman Music, which has a really cool vibe and stuff. We don't have anything like that. I wish we did.
I almost feel like it's easier to say what makes a bad shop bad than it is to say what makes a good shop good. Here's one thing I'll say. You got a small shop, even if it's in, so this is, there's a place, I won't name them because I don't want to get mail
Moonlight
about it.
used to be really cool, but I feel like the last couple times I've gone to Moonlight, they didn't have a lot.
I'll just name it since we're naming whatever.
Sure.
It's called Guitar Exchange. There's one, I've heard the one in the Midway District, which is sports arena, whatever area is.
I think I've stopped in there once.
Is decent. But I went to the one in Bonita again, like 10, 15 years ago. And I was just really underwhelmed. And I'll say that the thing that I think makes a good shop good is even if everything else I'll just say this. One thing that I think makes a good shop good is you got to have a niche or a niche.
Well, you have to choose between the two.
Yeah. So, you know, Freedom Guitar.
Yeah.
Their thing is that almost everything in there, like their new stuff.
Do they have new stuff?
I've seen stuff that I think was new in there. Don't really care about it, but their used stuff, their used selection is really rad.
If you go there, there's a chance you're going to get to play like a Fender Katana, you know, like the triangle shaped 80s
Fender
guitar.
Katana bass.
Right. Like they're going to have something funky there. If I had to bet money that, you know, a local shop had like a Fender 12 string, like a vintage Fender 12 string, like it would be there. If I had to bet the shop had a Mosrite, it would be there.
Yeah. So like Pitbull, I would say that
Pitbull really is your Guitar Center alternative.
But the thing I would say that they have really going for them is last time I was there, they had a Balaguer. They've got a few. I think they've got a couple Dunables.
They have all the Sire guitars and basses.
Oh yeah, they have the Sire stuff. So if you're looking for something on the cheaper side, they do have Sire.
They have a really good pedal selection.
They have a good pedal selection. They've got a few.
They have a repair department.
Prismas. Oh, their repair department
actually knows what they're doing. Our friend Sean Hutchinson works there, and he actually knows what he's doing. The Guitar Center repair department, like. We probably have Guitar Center employees listening, and that's fine. But from what I understand, a lot of that stuff gets sent out.
I think setups they do in house.
Oh, sure, setups are fine, but like
anything beyond that, I don't know that they necessarily do any. Maybe if
I would be shocked
if they open it up and they find like an obvious loose wire, maybe they repair it. But
I would be shocked if Guitar Centers had anyone doing like Gibson headstock repairs.
Oh yeah. That would surprise me too.
Yeah, but you could take anything to Pitbull, and I'm sure Sean can figure out how to fix it.
In fact, that reminds me, I need to probably save up some money. I think I got something for him.
I think the thing that stands out to me is like, oh, that's a guitar shop that I want to go back to and want to go visit. Is the idea that there will be something cool there?
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, I think about Guitar Center and they have a used section, and I think, like, I'm here, I'll stop by and I'll check it out. I'll buzz the used section and see, like, if there's anything funky. There usually isn't anything funky there because they're trying to buy and resell stuff that it hits a wider audience, I guess is the polite way to say it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to the places where it's almost has the threat of there's something that you've never seen before in person, and you'll get to try it, and you may not love it, but man, it's almost like visiting a museum, like you want that experience of like, I had no idea I was going to run into one of these guitars today. Like at one time at Freedom, they had like a late 70s Carvin that had a Strat body shape on it, the old Carvin headstock with the little kind of metal stamped badge on it, and it had these vintage pickups in it and this really legit vintage Bigsby on it. I wish I'd bought that thing. Jason Lee from the Riptides told me about it. He's like, you got to go look at this guitar. I wish I'd bought it. It wasn't a lot of money.
So the opposing from this, and this is what, again, I don't know how the Midway location is for Mark's Guitar Exchange, but when I went to the one in maybe they're good now. I don't know. They're so far away and I don't really have a connection to them. But when I went there, I was like, they had a lot of like all of your Fender, Strat, and Telecaster models. And there was nothing else kind of like that. Like there wasn't anything specialized about it. Center City Music, which I don't know if they still exist, but we used to have a place called Center City Music somewhere downtown. And they were like the county's premier Gibson dealer.
Right.
So if you wanted like a high-end Gibson, that's where you would go to.
I mean, every shop has to have their bread and butter stuff, which is fine. Like like if I stop into a shop, like I don't care. Like if they've got lines and lines of, Ibanez Geos or whatever, you know, like whatever is the thing that, they sell to moms and dads for Christmas presents for their kids and stuff like that. They've got to keep that stuff in stock to keep their business going. But I want to go to the places that have like the things I've never seen before.
Right. And so I would say a perfect example of this is there used to be a place in El Cajon. Again, don't know if it's still there. It's probably not, called Music. I don't remember anything about what instruments they had there, like in terms of high-end stuff. But what I do remember is they had Italia. They were like the only place in the county where you could go check out Italia guitars.
Yeah.
So that's their niche. They had Italia.
There used to be a place in Peavey that was like, it barely existed, but they had a couple DePentos.
Oh, cool.
And so I stopped by there a couple times just to try the DePentos. Like they had the Mach 4, I think, is like the Mosrite style shape. I don't think they had a Galaxy. I always wanted to try a Galaxy. And I think there's only been twice I've been able to actually try a Galaxy. And I should have bought the last one I got to try.
So I think I do think that's important. I will say Guitar Trader didn't really have that, but what Guitar Trader did have,
no, Guitar Trader would have some weird stuff come in used, but they had a lot of like rows and rows of Mexican fenders and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there was something that you could consistently count on.
I bought Big Red, which is a funky used guitar.
Oh,
Guitar Trader. Steve knows what I'm talking about. Big Red is the Fender Lead 2 clone copy,
I think it was Encore Eagle or something
knockoff that I have. They would have a used section that would have like 15 guitars in it regularly.
Yeah,
and they would often have funky stuff that I would spend time looking at.
But so what I was going to say is they did have that. It wasn't like consistent where, I'm going to go see this thing, right? But maybe for you that was a draw.
Right.
They had something. What they did have is I felt like they had pretty chill vibes.
Right.
They had a good selection and you could go in and the people behind the counter were like pretty chill and you'd be like, hey, can you get this down for me? And they would kind of just like let you do your own thing. And they'd ask you like, oh, hey, you need, like, basically when you came in, you walked by the counter and they'd be like, oh, hey, can we help you find anything? And you'd be like, oh, no, I'm just checking out. And they'd be like, all right, cool, let us know. They kind of just left you alone.
That's the thing I loved about Guitar Trader. Like, all the employees had like this old roadie vibe going on. Yeah. They're all like old long-haired dudes with, like the handlebar goatee mustache and stuff like that. And you'd walk in and they'd size you up and like, oh, okay, all right, okay, see if he needs anything. But they wouldn't actually talk to you. And you could tell that they had a wealth of knowledge. If you needed to ask anything, they would help you out, but they would just leave you alone. And as a natural introvert, if you can believe it, like I'm an introverted person. When I go out and shop places, I do not want to talk to salespeople at all. My wife knows this. Like, she'll strike up conversations with like the checker at the grocery store, and it makes me cringe so hard. I have to leave. I leave. I walk away from stores sometimes because she's having a conversation with the people working there, and I'm like, I can't handle this. I have to go.
Damn, dude.
So like, if I can walk into a shop and not be bothered until I have specific questions, like that's perfect for me.
So to go with that, like there are shops in San Diego that I think still exist that have like definitely have their niche. It's, kind of expensive stuff
or niche.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like they don't have chill vibes. Like there's a place not too far from here that is kind of in like office.
Sure.
Like is
it the bass place?
It's the guitar place, but it's the same. I think it's the same owners.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm not sure if the bass place exists anymore.
This is like the super high end.
Yeah. So it's like super high end.
I haven't been over there.
They don't sell like a single acoustic guitar under $3,000.
Ah, yeah.
And there's just like, I don't know. I went there and I was kind of like, oh, I just got this feeling like when I went in there and I was like, oh dang, everything here is like $3,000 or more. They had some like electrics. I think probably their cheapest electric was like $2,000. But I could just kind of tell like after I kind of was like, oh dang, these acoustics are expensive, that they were just kind of, oh, we got ourselves a tire kicker here.
Right.
And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, maybe at this point, but it's just a weird vibe. And they, apparently they sell a lot of them. Like I said, I think they're still in business, but I don't know. It was just weird. Buffalo Brothers was always the chillest vibe.
Buffalo Brothers was so cool. It almost felt like no one was working there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would walk in and again, like I'd be like, yo, what's up to the people at the counter? And I'd go into the back room where all the electric guitars were, and I basically wouldn't see anybody, which is probably why they went out of business.
I think Sean used to work there.
Really?
Yeah. But Buffalo Brothers was like an old farmhouse.
Yeah.
And it had all these different rooms that you would go into. And they had these upstairs rooms. And it was like, oh man, here are the folk instruments. Here are banjos. There's harps. There's mandolins. And some of them are new. Some of them are really, really old. Here's ukuleles that are ancient. Mm-hmm. Like this was definitely made in Hawaii by someone who like carved it with a coconut or something like that. And then they had, the electric room, and they would have a couple new things, but it would be like the oldest, heaviest G&L you ever picked up in your life. Yeah. Or like some Rickenbacker you've never seen. Like it was an excellent guitar shop.
Their electrics, their electric selection always seemed a little random to me. But they always had like some decent, like mid high end Gibson stuff. So I like the Gibson semi hollows, like the ES-137.
Yeah.
They would have.
They had a
137, 135, whatever that like semi-hollow, hollow body. And then what they really specialized in was acoustics.
Yeah.
Of course they had the full range. So unlike, the place I just talked about, you went into Buffalo Brothers and they would have on one end of the row, your baby Taylor, your big baby Taylor. And then on the other end of the row, your 814, 914. And next to that, you're thinking, oh, damn, like $4,000, $3,500, $4,000 Taylor. And then next to that was like, freaking like Martin CEO.
Oh man, they had so many Martins.
And or like,
but then they'd also have
Santa
like
Cruz and Laravies.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of Laravies.
And I think they had some Bourgeois.
But then they'd also have like a dozen Seagulls. Or something like that,
yeah. I think they might have been the only Seagull dealer. No, I take that back. I think Giacoletti's in Carlsbad was also a Seagull dealer.
Forgot about that place.
But so that kind of brings us Giacoletti's. They had a thing going for them. They were kind of out of the way, so I didn't go there a lot. They did carry Godin, which is why I think they also carried Seagull. So if you wanted, that's actually the first place I played a Radiator was at Giacoletti's. But they were kind of in the other category of guitar-ish store. Giacoletti's is probably what like a cool instrument, like school band supply should do, like if you're trying to do both, versus like Music Central, which is like all right, like Ibanez just sent you the
I don't think Music Central even
bag.
stocks Ibanez.
They did the last time I was in there like 5 years ago.
So Music Central is a guitar store here in town where I live. That
it's a music. I want don't insult guitar stores, but
it exists solely to rent instruments out to the marching band.
Yeah,
like that's how it makes all its money. The local high school marching band, like that's why it exists. And then it has some guitars, like the crappiest acoustics you can find and the cheapest electrics you can find. I bought my first amp there, and they way overcharged me for a 15-watt crate amp, So, but then they sell all the sheet music and stuff, and they have lessons there. And if I'm really in a pinch and I really need a pack of strings, that's where I end up. And they never have the brand that I want,
And they're at least like they have some guitar stuff. I went to.
That's the place where when I bought my first electric guitar, I had a Floyd Rose copy on it, and I broke a string, or I popped a string on it, and I couldn't figure out how to change the string, so I took it there. And no one working at the shop knew how to restring a Floyd Rose. And I didn't know that was a bad sign when I took it there when I was a kid. But years later, it was like, they didn't know how to restring a Floyd Rose. Like, what is going on in this music shop?
Why would you carry an instrument that you can't service?
Well, they didn't sell. Bought that guitar from a pawn shop.
Oh, gotcha. The place, I don't remember what it was called. The place that was the band rental when my daughter was taking. Oh, that was the other topic. When my daughter was taking violin through her school, they had a policy that was if you rent from them, when you return your instrument, you can apply your rent up to like 48 months of rent credit towards an instrument.
Wow, that's cool.
That was the way that's the way I understood it, at least.
That's actually rad.
Well, it's rad if your kid has been taking violin lessons for 2 years and decides that they want to own their violin. You
should have bought a violin for yourself, Steve.
They were a limited Yamaha dealer.
Okay.
And so I went in and I was like, this was right actually after the last NAMM we went to. And I got to play one of those Yamaha Trans acoustics that has like the built-in like effect. It's basically has like the Tonewood amp, but it's built into it. I was like, oh man, one of those would be super cool. So I went there and I was like, hey, if Yamaha, like you don't have it here, but can you order stuff from the Yamaha catalog? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, my kid's returning your violin. Like, can I use that credit to buy a guitar? And they're like, no, you can only use it for buying like an instrument in the same class. And
what?
I was like, oh, okay. And I thought about getting a violin. I was just like, that must have been in the fine print somewhere.
What violin can I buy? And then you just flip it.
I know. That's what I should. But the thing is it's like, we've been renting this violin that's like supposedly a $900 violin or whatever, but we've been renting it for like $20 a month. And
oh man, yeah.
So we could probably get that violin for free, but like violins are expensive. So
they are.
Anyway,
I want to say that Buffalo Brothers had this really cool program where any guitar that you bought assuming that you didn't, damage it in a major way.
Oh, yeah.
You bring it back with your paperwork and your receipt. So you just keep everything in a case. You bring it back within, past a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And they will take it back and apply its value to the next guitar you want to buy from them. So you can constantly like trade up if you want to there. This makes me so bummed that they don't exist anymore, because I bought my wife a baby Taylor from there, thinking like, oh, if she doesn't want it or she doesn't like it, or if she grows with the instrument and wants something more substantial, then we can trade up. And then they went out of business.
Yeah.
But I had these ideas in my head like, oh, if she changes her mind, then I essentially have a $250 credit here.
Yeah. So the other thing that you touched on is overpaying for strings.
Yeah.
And this was a thing that I learned when I was first playing guitar. There was a shop in Chula Vista called, at the time it's called Whitaker's. Now it's called Harper's Music. Mm-hmm. They're also kind of the local instrument rental place for marching band and whatever. But they also were like a PA supply and all of these different things, right? And I remember going there and buying like a pack of Ernie Ball Earthwood, I think that was the acoustic strings, for like $12 or $13. And I was like, huh, okay. And then like eventually we got the internet and I looked them up and I was like, man, I could have got these at Guitar Center for like $7.
Man.
And then
that's rough.
And the thing is like, I don't know if travel has changed. Obviously, like they were the local shop. I could get it. Well, I couldn't drive. I was like 12, 13 years old. But my parents were like, oh yeah, we'll drive you across town. It's like 15 minutes or whatever. But somehow like 25 minutes to Guitar Center. Actually, I think this might have even been when Guitar Center was technically closer, but kind of in the hood. So,
sure.
Like, oh, that's too far for a pack of, like, it's too far for a pack of strings. So you're in this awkward space where you're buying strings at like full price at like MSRP.
Right.
From your local shop, because they know like online shopping doesn't really exist.
They know that. They're like, online shopping doesn't exist. We can charge whatever we want.
Unless you go in there, like you could go in there, I think, with the Guitar Center catalog and be like, hey, I can get these strings. That people used to see that. I could get this Fender Stratocaster at Guitar Center for this price. But yours says $500, but this says $349. They'll be like, oh yeah, we'll match that. No problem. But if you didn't have like that catalog, like you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know.
I think that's a big element of a good local shop, is having interactions where you realize that you can trust them.
Yeah.
Like I had a really good interaction the first time I went to Guitar Trader, and I barely knew anything. I walked in, I was looking around. I had only been playing like acoustic guitar for like 6 months. And I was like, I do it my squeaky 13-year-old voice. I think I want to buy an electric guitar someday.
That probably is what 13-year-old you sound like.
Yeah. And then the guy looks me up and down and he's like, what's your budget? And it's like, I don't really know. And he's like, listen, I really can't recommend you, if you're buying new, you really shouldn't start with anything less than a Mexican Fender. And at the time, like, that's the equivalent of like a classic Vibe Squire as far as build quality goes now. And he's like, the cheapest ones here are like $375. And to me, that sounded like a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
But like they had a ton of cool colors, and I was looking at it, and honestly, like looking back, he was right. That was really good advice. Mm-hmm. And it gave me like a benchmark of like, here's kind of like a level of quality that I should have my eye on, instead of, thumbing through the musician's friend's catalog and be like, oh, here's a Rogue that's, $175. I'll just settle for that. And be like, the guy said like a Mexican Fender should be like the bare minimum for like getting quality so that it is actually playable. Like he gave me advice that I can actually trust to this day, where I could, if knowing how much money I had and what I could have bought instead, like he did actually save me a lot of trouble.
We should go to some shop sometime and like secret shop. Oh, the problem is a lot of places are like, you can't film in here.
Right.
I can just go in and be like, I don't know anything about guitar. Can you help me pick one out?
We could probably do a guitar store tour. I mean, Chapman did it through a Guitar Center or whatever when he was trying to sell through them. But we could probably do like a small mom and pop guitar store tour.
Yeah, but I'm saying like where they like, it's just, I don't know.
Like we show up to a small shop, we record a podcast there, and we just hang out the rest of the day.
They're gonna know who you are. Right?
No, but you prearrange it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying we sneak in. I'm saying that like we make it like a tour.
See,
instead of like doing a podcast tour
I'm thinking more like Pretty Woman.
Instead of doing like a podcast tour where, we go to venues and pack them out with 1,000 people because, that's what podcasts that tour do. Like we would go to little guitar shops and maybe 20 people would show up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yep.
I don't know. It's an idea for the future that we probably shouldn't do because it would be too much effort and money to actually make it happen.
Once we get that sponsor from Big Crate.
Big Crate?
Crates?
Oh, man, another story. And talking about trusting the salespeople and stuff like that. Another story from the local, from Music Central. When I was shopping for amps when I was a kid, I would go there to kick the tires a lot, which I know is annoying to the salespeople.
Punk ass kid.
Some 13, 14-year-old kid coming in all the time just to try stuff. And you can tell he's never going to buy stuff. But I would go in and I would try the amps because I had an acoustic at home. I wanted to play with distortion and reverb and things like that. Mm-hmm. And they had all these crate amps that were solid state. And I'd sit there and I'd play with them. And one day one of the guys comes in and like, hey, man, I need you to turn off the amps. If you play them too long, you're going to burn out the tubes. And I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, oh, man, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. And looking back, I'm like, those were solid state crate amps. What are you talking about burning out the tubes? You just wanted me to shut up and go home.
Dude, it was Music Central. There were no tube amps there.
No. They might have had one of those crate tube amps, but that is not what I was playing.
One of the vintage clubs.
You're going to burn out the tubes? Yeah. Come on. Like, even if that was true.
That's the cost of doing business.
Even if it was true, I wasn't playing at a volume that's going to burn out any tubes. But that put dumb ideas in my head. Like, oh, no, maybe I shouldn't get a tube amp because the tubes will burn out or something like that. I've been doing it wrong or something. That's a bad shop.
I do think for the most part, though, they're getting more like Locky Downey, which I don't love. I understand why they're getting more Locky Downey, but I have heard that the La Mesa Guitar Center is like a gem of
it's a good guitar center.
And I actually think I haven't been there again in forever, but I remember the San Marcos one being just as good, if not better, than the La Mesa one.
I'd say it's on par. I think the La Mesa one has all the classrooms now.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think the San Marcos has that.
I think the classrooms in the La Mesa one kind of like make it cooler.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's not. They're not. We hear horror stories about guitar centers, and I've been to guitar centers. Like there's the one up in Temecula. It's like a closet compared to the other two. Like I was shocked when I was there. Like this is a guitar center because I think we've been spoiled with the two guitar centers we have. I mean, they're guitar center. They're there's not a lot of soul there.
There's definitely like 5 people all butchering the intro to
it's the best.
What's the tuning exercise?
It's the Best Buy of guitar stores,
Sweet Child of Mine.
But like we have 2 guitar centers that are really good size with really, when it's not COVID times, they had really good selection. They've had a lot of people working at them. Like my criticism over the years has been like, go to a guitar center and then count the ratio of employees to customers. Yeah. And like there was always more employees than customers. Yeah. Like when I used to go more often, and it was like, how do they stay open?
On like a good day, on a busy day, there were probably like 2 customers per salesperson.
Sure.
On a slow day, there's like two or 3 salespeople per customer.
Contributes to not chill vibes.
Yeah.
Because there's some salesperson that's like, you need help? Hey, you need help? Let me know if you need help.
Oh, I got nothing else to do.
And then you get something in your hands and you walk up to the counter and you're like, where is everyone? where are all the people who are asking to help me? Now they don't want to ring me up.
It's always tough when I go into, I never know. And the thing is like, like if I had to, it wouldn't bother me once I got into the role of it. But like, I don't really want to interact with anybody in guitar stores, but I'm also like, kind of like when I hear somebody like playing something through like a piece of like like a Fender Telecaster through a Blues Junior, I kind of want to be like, oh yeah, man, that's a sick combo. And like strike up a conversation. But the problem is like, I get into this headspace of like, am I about to make a sale?
Should I get commission on this?
and the thing is like, what I'm good at is, though I don't do this in Guitar Centers as much, but I have done this in other places, not in a long time, is I saw a meme recently that was the difference between smart people and dumb people is smart people are really good at Google. Like they know how to get results out of Google.
Sure.
And so I remember going into Sport Chalet years ago, and this lady came in and she wanted to buy a baseball bat for her kid, and she didn't. There's so many of them. And there's so many bats. And there's so many rules and regulations, and she had all these questions. And the salespeople are just like college kids, and they're like, I don't know. They're like, let me go ask my boss. And then their boss comes over. And in the time that this guy came over and left and grabbed his boss and came back with his boss, I had like Googled it and be like, here's the rule book, ma'am. Like your son is in this age group. So this is like the specification for the bat he's allowed to use. So here's the bats that you can pick from.
Something that always cracks me up about Home Depot. Sorry if you're a viewer, a listener, and you work at Home Depot. I have had nothing but bad experiences with Home Depot employees. They never know where anything is. They're always act clueless whenever I ask simple questions. Like I get asked, where are needle nose pliers? And they're like, what are those? Like that is like the response I get. Like, oh, I don't know. You'll have to go talk to the manager, something like that.
I was going to say,
you get on the Home Depot app or the website on your phone.
It's horrific.
No, it's
you like it?
No, it's way better. Like you put in your location and you search for what you're looking for, and it tells you the aisle, the bay, and like the shelf number that it's on, and you can actually find stuff.
That's true.
But I mean, it does like, I mean, it's not the greatest website ever, but you can bypass the customer service people. But then like, it's impossible to find a customer service person that can help you. But there's always that guy walking around the store. It's like, hey, can I interest you in, do you own your home?
Yeah.
Do you own your home?
You want solar?
Like, why are you the only person here who's ready to talk to anyone about anything?
Well, the thing that's funny that about the looking it up on the website is, have you ever asked them like, oh, hey, I'm looking for this thing, and they go like, oh, what's it called? And they pick out their little scanner and they plug in like the description of the scanner, and it hits enter, and then you look at the screen of the scanner and it's just the website.
Right, totally. Now, I was at the check stand one time, and I had something that I pulled off the shelf, and the barcode wasn't readable on it. Mm-hmm. And the person's there at their register trying to find what it is. And I just get on my phone and I search for it. And I can't find this. What is this thing? I find it in one search. I'm like, here it is. There's the price. And they're like, no, I can't do it off of that. I have to find it on here. Yeah. There's the part number. There's the SKU. Like,
That's the thing I don't understand. Oh, the barcode's not readable. I'm like, well, can you read the UPC? Like, you can read, right? You can like do the I don't.
Now
I don't know.
Angry about Home Depot.
Do these computer systems not allow you to like enter in this whatever 16-digit?
Sometimes you go to Home Depot because you want to go to Home Depot. You want to like window shop or whatever. No, but most of the time I end up at Home Depot because I need to be at Home Depot to get something that I need. And it's never a fun time when that's the case.
I've never gone to Home Depot.
All right, let's do a sponsor and then
we got to do this ad. This ad is first.
You don't want to do a sponsor first? We're halfway through the show.
All right, this first. Sounds so sad about it. This episode is brought to you by Big Ear Pedals.
He's making drum sounds with his mouth.
Apparently last week I leaked some stuff, but Ryan edited it out. He said he was going to do it.
It's hard to say edited it.
Edited.
It's like seeing it to me.
Edited it out. But apparently they have something new coming, so you want to get on that mailing list, bigearpedals.com. Get on that mailing list. And I gotta say, they released a bunch of stuff around Black Friday, which was a couple weeks ago. A lot of it's gone. It's actually funny. Like Grant messaged me. I think we talked about this on a previous ad, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm finally ahead of all my." He was like, "I'm finally ahead on all my orders, man. Like I've got inventory right now." And then he put the loafs on sale, and they were all gone. And then Black Friday came, where they did $50 off everything, and everything else was just gone. Anyway, go check them out. The woodcutter is Top Jacks now. I hear the loaf is next. That's a
top jack treatment.
So if you were like, oh, I want a loaf, but I'm a Top Jack guy.
Yeah,
get on that mailing list.
You know, if you flip them around, they're bottom jacks. Yeah, you want those bottom jacks? Actually, bottom jacks would kind of work for pedals.
You gotta people aiming at the top of the pedal for that switch is tricky.
No, the switch could still be at the bottom.
I'm gonna say they can't.
Yeah, no, because the plugs would.
Switches are pretty big.
The plugs would just hug the sides of the switch.
Yeah,
I bet it would work.
Maybe it depends on the kind of.
It
switch.
would drive people nuts. It
depends on the kind of switch you're using.
They would hate the look of it.
If you're using a 3PDT, I think it would be really tight. But if you're using a SPDT relay, yeah, that could work.
So go follow Big Ear Pedals on all their social medias. Get on their mailing list so you can stay up on everything as it comes out to make sure that you don't miss what's available.
Yep. All right, man. You got anything new?
No, let's do. You want to do something new?
Oh yeah,
You do it. You do your new thing. Do your new thing. You brought a thing to do for new. You're not going to take it home.
We got to order because now we didn't do the ad.
We'll do the ad, Steve. Do your new thing. Steve has a new thing that he's been working on through emails, and I've been seeing the emails coming in and going out for like weeks now. It's a big old box. Here, I'll open up the knife for you.
I got a box.
He's going to unbox it right now.
One of our listeners, I mentioned
try
something.
Try not to cut yourself.
On an episode. You mean try not to Nate Bernecker yourself.
Don't cut me either.
On one of our episodes a while ago, I mentioned, it was after we went to the Codown.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is that bass.
Yeah. And so I mentioned wanting one of these, and one of our listeners reached out.
We're going to find out what it looks like, if it's any good, if it's cool, it sucks.
Hopefully I didn't just knife through the case.
You got so close to knocking a very valuable guitar over.
High quality tent here.
I can edit this for time. I'll speed this part up. Oh, there's a tweed case in there.
Oh, that's a nice case.
Oh, it's a soft bag.
This is a tweed musician's gear case.
You're taking this box home with you. I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah. So we're basically I'm trading bases with this guy. His name's John. Thanks, John. Oh, you put something under. Oh.
Trading Bases would be a really fun TLC show.
Starring Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd.
Playing bass guitar. Get to it, man. I want to see it. There it is. Yeah.
This is a Peavey T20. Oh, this pick card in the pictures he sent me, it looked white. And I remember thinking like,
it's like aged cream.
White's cool, I guess. It wasn't my favorite, but I do really want one of these bases. So I was like, it'll grow on me. This cream color is sick.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I like that.
Mind if I touch it?
Go for it.
Really interesting bridge hardware on this. I think Co's had a swapped bridge, right?
It's I don't know. Did it?
Bent metal.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think the action's a lot better than Co's.
Oh, is it? I thought the action on Co's was good.
I just remember it being kind of high.
Let me take a look at this. It's mine. Give it to me.
I played it first. That's cool. I really like the color of the burst, too. The Peavey T20 bass.
Oh,
This is good podcasting
explains
right
it.
here.
Yeah, this is rad. Thanks, John.
I think something really fun about the design of this is that pickup ring has a built-in thumb rest.
That's
on
my
it.
favorite thing about it.
Yeah,
And this thing definitely shows its age. Spin it around. Show the back. Show the back to the kids at home.
it's got some nice.
Got a nice little belt buckle wear.
Yeah.
This is definitely a player's bass.
But it's got like nice little bits of dings and stuff on the side, pressure dings and whatnot.
I like this.
It looks like a table at the old Pizza Hut restaurants.
Yep.
A nice little belly carve there too. That's
Very
cool. That's an attractive bass, Steve. Congratulations. All right, first ad. This was sent to us by Eric Rosenbaum. I have it written out as Crazy Guitar.
About this listing, the guitar will be off from selling for 1 month. What the heck?
The guitar's taking a break from being sold for a little while, okay, guys? It's going on vacation.
Okay, this says the condition. Oh, I think it's just because it was taken off because the guy didn't want to deal with shipping over the holidays.
Sure.
The conditions are mint and not new just because I had to use the guitar for some hours to test it and record the video. The quote, craziest guitar 2021 is a made in Salento, Italy guitar bass. A project started 2 years ago in searching for a challenging instrument to build. The result is a guitar without compromise. Neither limits to creativity. But like maybe you should have compromised. I'm just,
I mean, there are still limits to creativity with this. Like figuring out how to play it is a limit.
Like it's not a hammer. You can snort drugs off of it.
Well, you could say that about most things.
Okay.
Let's explain what we've got here before you read the description. I'm not even going to try to count the strings. I'm gonna guess 18 strings.
No, it is a 15 string
I
guitar.
got close. Many of those strings are floating without frets, so it's like a harp situation.
How many frets do you think this instrument has?
I'm gonna guess there's at least 27.
There are 32 frets.
Oh my gosh, I'm guessing wrong all over the place. It's multi-scale. It's got 5 hot rail pickups. The highest string on it, the lowest string on the fretboard, has a completely different fret spacing than the rest.
Yeah, it's like banjo mounted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's got a completely different bridge mount to it. It has built-in effects, one of which is like a built-in 7-band EQ.
Yeah, the bass strings, which are tuned G sharp, G C E, is like you said, it's like a harp, so it's only playable.
There's no
slide.
fretboard.
Yeah, they're just free floating. All right, what effects do you think?
Oh
this
my
thing
gosh,
has? This has 1, 2, 3, 4 effects, 5 effects.
I watched the video of the guy playing it, and I'm no person to talk. Like, I'm not an excellent player, but I don't think he was getting the full potential out of this. Like, he was exploring different parts of it, but he definitely wasn't shredding this. I think he was more just showing that it did function. He was fine as a player. He was fine. But the video didn't have someone like full shredding this. I'm sure someone out there could figure out double hand tapping parts to utilize every string and every effect on this guitar in one piece.
Okay, but so what effects do you think these are? Do you know?
Just join a band. Don't do this. Just join a band. Get some other people to play with. Like this.
The effects are. It's everything you need.
Delay, reverb, fuzz, distortion, overdrive.
Compressor, overdrive, distortion, reverb, delay. And then on the top, next to those bass strings, is a 7-band EQ.
Yeah, right where you need it.
There are 2 5-way switches. The first 5-way switch is for the first 6 string, and the second 5-way switch is for the last 5 strings. And they influence the output of each other to balance the output. That's kind of interesting. one volume, one pedal, and one jack output.
It has 3 outputs. One for volume and one for pedal control.
Oh my gosh.
It's so over the top. Oh my gosh.
However it's powered, it might be a kind of
It looks like a clean build.
The way they describe the power situation for these pedals, I don't see a picture of it that I'm finding readily.
If I was going to do it, I'd have some sort of rechargeable USB battery that they run off of.
That would be a good idea, but the problem is that you have a delay reverb, which isn't gonna. You'd have to come up with like some kind of specialized battery system. I'm not seeing a picture of where the power comes in this thing. Just looking for that power. I need that power.
Look at how it fits in this case. The case is like a wood crate that you would ship
doesn't even fit in that crate. It like barely fits.
Yeah, it doesn't look safe in there. They want $17,000 for it.
Oh, that's Australian dollars. So it's maybe only like 12,000 US dollars.
Still.
So the power situation I was talking about makes it sound like it might.
It says this in Italy, Steve.
This is in Italy, but this listing came from apparently maybe Eric Rosenbaum is in Australia.
I said it earlier, but it does look like a clean build. I'm not seeing any part of this where I'm like, oh, that's shoddy workmanship. Like, but it like in concept, like this is over the top. I'm surprised there's not a whole suite of, dozens of switches to do coil splitting and parallel series and out of phase mixing and stuff for every pickup.
Yeah, why didn't they do that? You have all these hot rails and you can't split a single one of them?
Yeah, what if I want single coil tone from this guitar?
This isn't, well, actually, you think about it, Ryan, right? This is called, what is the name of this guitar again? Craziest guitar. You know what's not crazy?
What?
Single coil tones.
Yeah.
You're definitely not getting on any trains that may or may not be certified, certifiably crazy.
Oh my gosh, Steve. We're too tired to do a podcast.
Did we talk about that song in a previous episode?
We did.
How I didn't know that wasn't Ozzy Osbourne's. Okay.
Well, it's Ozzy Osbourne, but it's not Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
That was like 3 episodes ago.
Okay, cool. Just want to make
sure. Imagine you own this and you get famous playing a song with it. Now you have to haul this around with you for the rest of your life. Because you're not going to have 2 of them.
Imagine you own this guitar and you write a song and you get famous for it.
How did that happen?
Yeah. Who becomes the custom builder for when this becomes your signature model?
I know, right? How do you make a Squire version of this for the kids? But that high string that's a completely different scale and gets its own frets, like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, what? Like, this person really like challenged themselves. Like, what? Let's throw everything at this, and who cares if any of it makes sense? There's only one knob.
Yeah.
Only one volume knob, I'm assuming. There's no tone control.
Yeah, one volume, no tone. Well, that's what your EQ is for. You turn that.
You got a 7-band tone. Yeah.
So I will say like this. So this is basically, I mean, this is at its
honestly
core
isn't
just
the
an
worst
11-string guitar.
Idea. You take the 7-band slider thing and you throw that in a guitar. That's actually a good idea. And there's miniature versions of 7-band sliders now. Like that in a guitar is a good idea. Let's just be honest. But you need to put it somewhere clever.
I mean, there's a lot of like good materials in this.
Oh, yeah, sure. And this person did a great job designing it to fit all this stuff in. Like, no part of it looks like, oh, man, they could have done it a better way. No, it's a very clean build. You can tell it's very well thought out.
I kind of like the white plastic weirdness that's coming around those pickups.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. I just don't understand, like, I don't even understand how to approach
it is very Italian.
this guitar.
There's big Italian energy to this guitar.
Oh, yeah, that good old BIE.
The BIE.
Are you saying that this guitar is going to make you an offer you can't refuse?
Don't do that, Steve. Can we have a no more accents rule on the show?
Or
neither of us are good at accents, so let's not try ever again.
Are you saying that when this guitar walks into a room, it says, "Hey, it's a me, Guitario.
It's a me, Guitario." Okay, we can do Mario accents. But you know who can't? Chris Pratt. I mean, we'll find out.
Has he tried?
He's going to voice Mario.
I know. I don't get it. He's not even Italian.
I know, right? You don't have to be Italian to do a really bad stereotypical Italian accent, Steve.
That's racist. They should have gotten a real Italian.
Mario is what Japanese people think Italians are like.
Who would have been a good Italian to get for this? Oh, they could have got that guy from Måneskin. Måneskin?
Oh, yeah.
Måneskin?
Well, they need a celebrity Italian. By the time this comes out, it's like they're going to have a trailer for it or something, and we're all going to know what it sounds like, and everyone's going to be okay with Chris Pratt being Mario. All right, let's do a different ad.
Let's do a sponsor.
Okay. Chase Plus Audio. That's who's sponsoring this portion and the entirety of the show. They've been sponsoring us for so long, and we appreciate it.
Want pedals more creative than you are? Head on over to chaseblisaudio.com, where for as little as $1 a month. If you were to save $10 a week for a year, you could buy any Chase Bliss pedal you want.
That's true.
From their normal series, not any of the automaton stuff.
And isn't your creativity worth it?
If you just
$10 a week, guys,
if you just stop eating that avocado toast,
it's not even for a full year.
Yeah,
you know, most of it.
I believe in you.
Yeah, put that money away. Put it in your piggy bank. Then you're gonna have a bright and shiny Therme, which is a fantastic pedal that I actually recommend.
Maybe
if you're looking for a delay pedal,
Gravitas.
If you're looking for a delay pedal that's going to take you in completely different directions, while also being a really rock solid analog style delay. I mean, you can't. The Therme is amazing.
If you're looking for a delay pedal that's going to be a delay pedal, the Therme is a great choice.
Yes, it is a delay pedal, isn't it, Steve? We are both visibly exhausted right now.
Yeah, but chaseplusaudio.com, digital brain, analog heart.
Better looking than you are, more creative than you are, all that stuff.
Yep.
Thank you, Chase Bliss. We really appreciate it.
This next ad was sent. This is the ending ad. Okay, we'll do the ending ad. Whatever.
Is it really?
This next ad
by so fast.
Sent by Jason Welch. What
was the first ad that we did?
The crazy guitar. I didn't write down a second ad.
Oh, okay.
Well.
Oh, well.
There we are. This was posted by Cole. This was posted by Jason Welch. This is being sold by somebody named Cole. It says, "In my more artistic and juvenile days, I built this guitar off a kit. Here's what was done. Warman humbuckers with distressed covers, core routed out and filled with fiberglass resin for a more dense." Yeah, because that's what you want. Yeah. A more dense core. The theory was to provide longer sustain by filling my guitar with plastic. Gothic design. You
can hear the sarcasm in his voice as you read it.
The Gothic design with red, black, and studs. Vinyl lettering on the back with what I thought the name of it to be, which is Rogue V1.
Oh my gosh.
The design is definitely over the top, but it could certainly be a good start to a project, or keep it like it is if it suits you. It ain't perfect, but it was never supposed to be. But like, aren't those studs like not the best thing in the world?
No, there's no ergonomics there. These look like metal screws, like the self-driving metal screws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you know what those are like, you know that the bolt side of that is not going to be comfortable for your arm to interact with. It's not a round rivet sort of stud on there.
Oh, this is a Liberty custom instrument.
I will say,
made in St. Louis, Missouri. I like the headstock.
I don't hate the paint job.
I don't hate the paint job either.
It's, it's really common for people to hate on relics and like, oh, a relic guitar. And you could look at this and assume this is a relic. This isn't relic. This is stylized.
Yeah.
This is a stylized paint job. I think it actually looks really cool. It's like kind of rubbed away red over a rubbed like black and gray kind of look. It has this primer gray kind of look mixed with scratchy black and wood textures and stuff. And the red over it, it works in a Hot Topic sort of way.
Yeah. The only part of this I really, really hate is the screws. And honestly, I think I would just take them out and leave it alone.
Well, I think they're holding on the top of the guitar where all the resin is hidden underneath. But yeah, I think if you could pull out those screws, yeah, I think the rest of this is fine for $150. We have no idea how it plays. We have no idea what that brand is all about. It's a bolt-on neck Les Paul style thing. I don't think it's ugly. I would probably swap out those knobs personally.
Mm-hmm.
But for $150, if I was shopping for a quick and dirty Les Paul for like a kid or something like that for a punk band, it's already been messed up by a kid. It's perfect for a kid. The plastic thing cracks me up though. And
I wonder how heavy it is now.
I don't know, but it cracks me up to think back to when I was a kid on the internet learning about guitars in the 90s on Harmony Central and other forums and stuff like that. During that time, people were obsessed with sustain.
You don't think he just routed out the core by like taking the electronics cavity off and just like drilling across?
I don't know about that. It's hard to know without him saying what he did. I honestly think he hollowed it out through the back maybe and then put a piece of ply over the back of the guitar or over the top of it. I don't know. He didn't show any indication of where the plastic actually is. But like this idea that people had, like the denser, the heavier the guitar, the more sustain you'll have. And everyone was trying to get their guitar to sustain like a piano.
Literally every single person who was like, yeah, heavier guitars, more tone, more sustain, is in a wheelchair now.
And that's not because the guitars were heavy. It's because Steve sent people out to break their legs.
Wow. Cringe.
Gee.
This got dark real fast.
No, I think I think eventually, collectively, most guitarists realized like, oh, I don't need to sound like a piano. I don't need sustain for days because I want to play more notes in my band. I don't want to play one note and then wait for 40 seconds. Like I want to get to the next note. And I think we all agreed collectively, like, oh, we don't really actually need that much sustain.
So I will say, from an educational topical standpoint, I have been playing, I feel like I feel like humbuckers in general, tonally, but maybe it's the drive pedals. I don't know. Like the Les Paul that I have is very lightweight for Les Paul. And I feel like it sustains fine.
Oh yeah, it's fine. That's a great guitar.
I guess I'm not in a situation where I need a chord to ring for more than like one, maybe two measures. This is a thing I've been hearing a lot in a lot of church music, even though praise and worship is dead. Thing I've been hearing lately in a lot of church music is songs that will have like a really big one chord to start like the verse. Mm-hmm. And then you don't play anything for like 32 measures. You're just chilling until you hit like the second verse. So you do the whole verse,
right?
The chorus, like instrumental repeat of the intro, and then verse 2, more guitar. Like you finally get to play the guitar again. But it's like you play the whatever big chord at the beginning of the first verse, and you just let it ring out. And you don't. I mean, maybe I should get like a EHX freeze and see how they like it when I just strum that big chord and hit the freeze. I don't need to borrow freeze. That was a joke. I don't really want to do it.
I have the plus sustainer over there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is actually a cool.
That would soak up a lot of space on a pedal board though. It is a fun pedal. the Game Changer Plus Sustainer pedal.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I like you said, I like the color of this. I don't have anything else. $150.
Why not? Go check it out. How bad could it be? It could be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But honestly, like if it doesn't weigh crazy ton and the neck is fine, like I don't know. I'm not that off put by it.
It's in St. Petersmo, so if you're in St. Petersmo, go check it out. All right, this last ad was sent by Paul Weller.
I like that the kid, like the guy owned up, like I did this as a kid. I'm sorry. Come by it.
This says this is in Greenville, Ohio.
A green guitar in Greenville.
Electric guitar, Gibson USA pickups trade, flame neck, Wilkinson locking tuners, big brass block, Gibson USA 490T and 490R humbuckers. Plays awesome, very smooth, low action. Trade for other guitars.
Do you think he cut this pick guard himself, or do you think he hit up a pick guard cutting company to custom cut this for him?
I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you to
I think
it's a hypothetical, Steve.
I think he cut it himself.
Okay. I just imagine the person that he hired cutting it being like, what the hell is this?
This has some interesting features, to be honest.
It does. Thank you for your honesty, Steve.
It has the Fender peg heads, strap peg heads for a locking tuner system. Obviously, as mentioned, it has the Gibson USA 490 pairing, which is the SG standard pickup pair.
It always blows my mind that you know all these model numbers for Gibson guitars.
It was. Well, so the 490, 498 combo was on the old Les Paul Studios and on the Les Paul Custom. Well, I was actually in a conversation about this.
Why does he know that?
In the Get Offset Discord recently, where everybody knows this. It's just obvious, Ryan. But basically the 490, 498 pair, and by extension, the 490, 490 pair, just don't have like the best reputation because they're like the entry-level Gibson pickup.
Sure. I think the most visually interesting thing about this guitar, I mean, one, it's neon green, but I really like the color a lot. But that pickguard is really different because it's a two humbucker guitar with a single switch, and they went for a 4-knob layout to do like a Les Paul thing. But it's mostly a Strat pickguard.
Yeah.
But then they put this gigantic squared off wing wrapping down the entire bottom corner of the body to give enough space on the pickguard to host those 4 knobs.
Yeah.
And visually it really breaks the flow of a Fender guitar. Like it does, it's
weird.
They could have done the Telecaster thing.
Yeah.
Where there's a Telecaster pickguard that has 4 knobs on it. They could have done that kind of flared out shape. The fact that it's stratty, there is a 90-degree angle straight line of the pickguard going straight down the body to meet up with a huge piece of perloid covering the entire lower bout of the guitar.
I do like how the pickguard is like cut around the bridge.
Right.
It is also weird to me that given you have this giant pickguard, so presumably you have a lot of space under there, but you went with a mini toggle.
Yeah, the mini toggle cracks me up. It's like, did you accidentally order the wrong switch and you just like, I'll run with it?
The screws are, I was going to say the screws aren't a match set, but they actually, I think all are flathead, all flathead screws all the way around.
If this guitar didn't have the giant pickguard on it, indicating a route underneath them, underneath the 4 knobs.
Yeah.
For $240 with a decent looking neck on this, I would be looking at this locally.
Yeah, it looks decent.
It looks like a decent parts guitar.
240, I think 240 is fair.
It's got that big brass block in there. Like it looks like it's all high quality parts. But it's hard for me to imagine modifying this in a way where I enjoy the look of that giant squared off pickguard. Right. But man, I love that color. That's really cool. I love that bright neon green paired with a maple fretboard.
Yeah.
I even like the humbuckers on this. Like the humbucker look works. I just wish it didn't have that monstrous pickguard. I wonder what the route looks like. Could it be modified to be more stylistic?
I feel like it's
pickguard?
got to be. Like, you think it's just a big rectangle under there?
It might be. It might be. This is a gamble to buy that and find out.
Yeah.
But for $240, I mean, it's not that big of a gamble.
It's a huge gamble, Ryan.
Really putting it all on the line.
You ready to listen to a song?
Yeah, let's listen to a song and go home. I'm already home. I'm telling you to go home, Steve.
I'm going to go out of order on this one because this was sent by John Taylor, who sent me the bass.
Nice.
He says, hey, guys, I'd like to get a song at the end of the podcast. Not sure how you accept submissions. Well, if you want to submit a song, you send it to 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com. He sent a link to his Bandcamp and said, play this song. Otherwise, you can just send the MP3. That's the easiest way to do it. The hardest way to do it is to say, hey, we get a song on your show. Here's a vinyl record. Appreciate the vinyl record, but we're not going to be able to play it on the show. Definitely can't play a cassette tape on the show. Song is also on iTunes and Spotify. It's called Get the Past Behind. His band is called Frank Lloyd Wrong.
I love it.
The instrumentation is a Fender American Pro Tele into a Blues Junior with a Wampler Tumnus and tape delay. Boss DS1, cheap digital keyboard, Peavey T20 bass. That's that one over here. Behringer bass DI21. A human drummer on a Ludwig pocket kit.
Where do you get one of those?
Bunch of drummer stuff. Windows, Dell, Intel, Glyph, carpet, drywall, architectural shingles, earth. So let's bring this up and play the song.
Festival circuit, in a street plan. Your father is an A&R man. They put together your band. Dad's gonna work it. I'm gonna be found out. I'm gonna get caught with a red hand. That'll be the end of my brand. Baby, it was worth it. Let the money flow. Baby, make it rain. Get a face tattoo. Play through the pain. Corporate rock from a corporate town. Come and hear the sound in the Banks Arena. Sell out crowd. Tickets on the ground. Where's your mother now? Hammer, have you seen her? She's down in the pit, and she's shaking it. She's never been more lit. Bring me more tequila, and get a single deal. Maybe a car commercial.
What do you think, Steve? You think I liked it?
I liked it. Oh, did you like it? I think you loved it.
I loved it.
I apparently played the wrong song, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I think you played the right song. That's the one I wanted to listen to.
All right. We did it.
Cool vibes. Really cool vibes. All right. Bye, everyone.
Stay grounded.